It started off like any other evening, quiet, familiar, wrapped in routine. We had dinner, picked a movie that neither of us truly cared about, and settled into the couch like we had so many times before. That kind of evening where comfort feels like love, where nothing out of the ordinary is supposed to happen. Or so I believed. She was scrolling through her phone, laughing at something on the screen. The soft glow lit up her face in the dim room. And just for a brief moment, I saw a name pop up, one I didn't recognize. It was just a flash, but it hit me like a punch in the gut. Before I could ask, she saw me looking. Her phone flipped face down instantly. "Nobody," she chuckled. "Just a friend." But the way she said it, the way she hid the screen, it wasn't nothing. You don't have to be a detective to feel when something's not right. I tried to brush it off, force myself to enjoy the rest of the night, pretending I hadn't just seen the first fracture in our foundation. But everything started to feel off. Her smile seemed staged, her touch didn't linger, her eyes no longer met mine the same way. I didn't say anything that night. I didn't accuse her, didn't raise my voice. I simply observed. Waited. Soon it became impossible to ignore. She started going to bed later than usual, clinging to her phone like it was oxygen. She laughed at messages and guarded her screen like it held government secrets. Slowly, I faded into the background of my own life. She was still there, but the version of her I knew was gone, replaced by someone who wore her face, but didn't carry her love. Then came the night everything unraveled. She was in the shower, steam fogging up the bathroom, humming some tune like the world hadn't shifted. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I didn't plan on checking it. I really didn't. But my hand moved like it already knew what my heart refused to face. I picked it up. His name was there again. Only this time there was more. Not just messages. Hundreds of them. Photos, memories, conversations dripping with intimacy. Plans. Things she never shared with me. Jokes that belonged to them. Desires she never voiced to me. It wasn't a fling. It was a second life. And I wasn't part of it. I didn't wait for her to come out of the shower. I didn't ask for explanations. I already knew the truth. Quietly, I walked to the closet, packed a small bag with only the essentials and walked out. No note. No words. Just silence. She didn't think I'd actually leave. She never imagined I could. But the truth was, the love that once kept me anchored had finally become the strength I needed to walk away. The next few days blurred together. I checked into a cheap hotel, ignored the flood of messages and calls. She tried to reach me, desperately at first, asking where I was, begging me to talk, claiming she could explain. But what explanation could fix betrayal that deep? What words could undo months of deceit? Eventually, I blocked her number, erased our photos, unfollowed her from every corner of my digital life. I tried to delete her from my reality. But love doesn't vanish just because you hit delete. It echoes. It lingers. It softens over time, but it never truly disappears. You just learn to live with the silence where their voice used to be. 2 weeks later, I signed a lease on a tiny apartment. It wasn't much, but it was mine. It was quiet. And in that quiet, I started breathing again. Healing isn't loud. Some nights I still reached out in my sleep, my body caught in the memory of her presence. But little by little the weight lifted. Half a year went by. Then one day she reappeared. I was heading home from work, groceries in one hand, headphones dangling from the other. I turned the corner, and there she was, waiting near my building. She looked different, not in the way she dressed or stood, but in the heaviness behind her eyes. Guilt had hollowed her out. "Hey," she said softly, as if we were just old friends bumping into each other. I didn't answer. Just looked at her. "Can we talk?" she asked. I should have kept walking. But I didn't. Part of me needed to hear it. Needed to know if she would finally admit it. We sat in a small cafe nearby, a place she'd never been, one I'd grown to love in my new life. She stirred her coffee absent-mindedly, eyes fixed on the table. "I didn't think you'd actually leave," she whispered. And that right there was her mistake. She thought my love made me weak. She didn't realize it was the very thing that made me strong enough to leave. She claimed it wasn't serious. That she was confused. That she made a mistake. But mistakes don't live in your phone for months. Mistakes don't wake up to texts that aren't from the person lying next to you. Mistakes don't plan a whole other life. She cried. Told me she missed me. Said nothing in her world had felt right since I left. I believed her. But belief doesn't equal forgiveness. Regret doesn't erase betrayal. And guilt? Guilt isn't the same as love. I don't expect you to forgive me, she said quietly. I just needed you to know I still think about us. I nodded, but I felt nothing. No pain. No bitterness. Just stillness. You think about us, I said. But you didn't fight for us when it mattered. She said nothing after that. Just stood there, waiting for some final word from me. But I had already said all I needed to say. I left her sitting at that table. And I walked back into my life. A life that no longer had space for someone who only realized my worth after she threw it away. When someone shows you who you are to them, believe it the first time. Don't wait around hoping for an apology that arrives long after the damage is done. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away, quietly, unexpectedly, and never turn back.